Hi, welcome to another episode of Barbell Junction. My name is Azmi, your host. With me today is Nell.
What's up?
From Kettlebowl, right?
Yeah.
Close to the mic.
Yeah.
And today we're just gonna explore. We're just gonna have a little chit chat with Nell. But before we do that, please go to our YouTube channel. That's Zealfit TV. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to it. Don't forget to turn the notification button so that you get all the notifications whenever we put up videos. Also, we are available on Spotify. Before that as well, just to remind you guys, we have a little competition, a giveaway actually. So we're gonna give away this Mutant IsoSurge protein, courtesy of Fit Lion, our sponsor for today. So do visit their website at my.fitlion.com for your supplemental needs. And you need to listen to this episode in order for you to participate in the giveaway. We'll make that announcement somewhere in the episode, so you have to listen to it by hook or by crook. All right.
You're listening to Barbell Junction, Malaysia's first strength and fitness podcast, brought to you by Zealfit Malaysia, the distributor of Eleco strength equipment.
And welcome back. How are you, Nell?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, always a pleasure to have all my guests here.
Yeah.
You know, as you know, I don't know. Do you follow us?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, really? Thank you so much.
Yeah. And but today is like the first day I've actually stepped into this gym, and dude, it looks amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, the only problem for me is a little bit too far.
It's a problem for a lot of people,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But maybe one day we have some sponsors to set up somewhere in PJ.
Yeah.
That would
But
be really
guys,
nice,
if
right?
you guys are looking for a kick-ass weightlifting gym, come over here. Find a time in the weekend.
Yeah, there's nowhere else better.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've run through all of our members for this podcast just because it's very difficult to find guests sometimes. And right now I'm running through D13s. Right, so it was Nas, I think Nas, and then ID, and also Matt,
Yeah.
and now you.
All right.
So if there are anyone else from D13 who wants to be on this show, you guys are welcome here.
Yep.
Anyway, so let's talk about you. How have you been doing first?
I've been good. 2019 has been a great year of learning and growth, I'd say. And it's also my 4th year of being away from the corporate life and trying to make something of myself in the fitness industry.
Right.
Well, in the wellness industry in general. So it's been a really interesting year. A lot of growing, a lot of change, and at the same time, a lot of finding myself.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is my 11th month away from the corporate world after, I've mentioned it so many times on the show, after 18 years, right? Can you tell me whether it's worth it that I've left the corporate world?
If you're happy with where you are right now, then I'd say definitely worth it.
Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy. My pocket's not that happy, but
Yeah. I mean,
but everything else is happy, right?
that's a trade-off, right?
Yeah.
I think whenever you want to pursue something that you like or you love,
Yeah.
there is a trade-off, and sometimes, if not most times, it's financial.
Yeah, and really, I think it depends on what's more important to you, right? At that point of life. So for me, I'm still relatively young, not super young anymore,
Yeah.
but I am still at the point of my life where I'm still exploring. I'm still trying to learn more about myself, and also to learn about the things around me. A lot of upskilling myself, a lot of growth, as I mentioned. And on this journey, I've sort of come to realize that money is not the main priority at the moment. I'm lucky because I have I have a good family that supports me. You know, my husband's awesome. He supports me in everything that I do.
By the way, congratulations. You just got married, right?
Yes, I did. I got married in the gym.
Oh, ID told me, yeah.
Yeah. So that was really cool.
You know, I did. Nas, sorry, Nas.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was really cool getting married in the gym. But yeah, so back to the topic of money. I've come to realize that there's more to life than just making money. You know, as long as I can support myself and sustain myself, you know, and still in a way be comfortable with my lifestyle, and still be able to do what I love.
Right.
I think it's more important to be able to explore something that I'm passionate about.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing with me, I suppose. I mean, it was difficult to do something that you essentially don't have any heart. You can't put any heart into it.
Yeah.
You know, you're just doing it because it's a job.
Yeah.
It's day in and day out. It's the same thing, and especially if you work in a very big corporate environment, it's energy life sapping.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So far, alhamdulillah, I think for the last I think I resigned in January. So this has been about 10 months. I mean, it has been a blast, to say the least. Even though I'm just alone here in the gym, right? I find the tranquility very refreshing, very invigorating.
Yeah.
And then the people that I meet, they're not the same people, except of course my members, but people like yourself.
Yeah.
This whole podcast, right? I'm meeting a lot of other people and exchanging ideas, getting more contacts, and that's more fulfilling than anything that I've ever done over in the corporate world. I'm not saying that the corporate world is evil or it's not good for everyone. It's just not for me lah.
It's just it's a different experience altogether, and it takes a different kind of person to be able to thrive in the corporate world, and it takes a different kind of personality or character to be able to thrive outside doing like what we are doing, you know, doing something on our own.
I think I'm still in between, you know, but in the corporate world, one thing that I didn't like was the politics. I think a lot of people would probably face the same thing, you know. That's something that I don't have right now. You know, you have here disagreements here and there, but it's nothing compared to the politics that happen in office. So you know, anyway, I'm happy. I hope you are happy anyway.
I'm happy.
You mentioned that last year has been a year of growth for you, right? Can you share with us what you mean by that? What was happening before and what happened in the last year?
Okay. Well, I mean, I think I've been growing a lot in the past 5 to 6 years, especially after I graduated from uni. That's where I sort of started my fitness journey, and in the first few years into my fitness journey, I was doing a lot of growth and healing in terms of how I looked at myself physically. So more towards body image issues, you know, learning to love myself a little bit better, learning to treat myself better, and learning to enjoy training as a form of bettering myself rather than it being about me trying to escape from something.
Oh, was it your outlet before?
Yeah. Working out had always been my outlet. So before CrossFit, I actually dabbled a little bit in MMA, Muay Thai. I was rock climbing for the longest time. And I remember back then, like, whenever I got sad or whenever I was not happy about something, the first thing I would reach out for would be to sweat. And that would be like to go and climb for the whole day, you know, 8 hours a day of just rock climbing.
Wow, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Can you actually climb for 8 hours?
Yeah, I mean, like, climbing is a really chilled out sport. You just hang out in the gym the whole day and you just try out routes after routes.
You're talking about bouldering, right? Like,
yeah, bouldering, even because I used to climb in Camp 5 a lot, and they had that auto belay thing, right?
Okay.
So I just like hook myself onto that, climb up and down, up and down non-stop.
And then just lie down on the floor for a while and then just go back up again, back down again?
Yeah. In a way, I think I reached out to climbing because it was kind of like meditation, you know, like meditating on the wall. To be a good climber, you've got to be really agile, you've got to be really graceful, you know. It's about using your whole body and trying to move as efficiently as possible to get from point A to point B. And I found that really calming for me. It was a very comforting sport, but at the same time, like now when I look back at that, I was really just escaping from a lot of things, a lot of pain that I was going through.
You mentioned about your you were concerned about your body image. I find it a bit surprising because I don't see how you can have a body image issue.
Yeah, I know. When I look back at it now, I'm also wondering like, how did I have a body
Yeah.
image issue?
Do you still have it, or do you just like I'm married already? So.
No, yeah. Today, like at this point now, no. I think it's pretty well managed. That
Right.
issue has been pretty well managed. But I think most girls out there go through it, you know, like, because I mean, we talk about it all the time, you know, what you see in the media, social media doesn't help as well. You know, there's this set expectation or standard for girls to achieve, you know, if they want to look beautiful, you know.
Right.
But it's good to see how the media is slowly starting to change nowadays. You
Is
know?
it?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. More and more like stronger girls are appearing. You know, girls who defy the norm of what the normal beauty standards.
Right.
You know, I think even beauty and skincare products as well, they are starting to change their approach. You know, they're no longer just focusing on girls that look pretty, you know, but they're focusing more on the stories behind women. Yeah. So I've had the privilege to work with some really good brands, and it's very comforting to know that, you know, things are slowly starting to change.
Right. So
Yeah.
Besides the body image issues that you face and then overcoming it and all that, what else? What was the other growth factors that happened over the last couple of years
Yeah.
for you?
I've done a lot of emotional healing. I think I've never actually said this. Well, I have, you know, like if you check out my Instagram, you'll see some stories about me. Growing up, I had pretty tough time growing up as a kid. Not the best environment for a child to grow up in, because it was a rather abusive environment. I went through a series of physical and emotional abuse, and I think that has like that did a lot to me in terms of my own confidence in myself, and also the way I trust people, you know. So I've always had trust issues. It took me a long time to even trust my husband, you know.
Right. I mean, while you were dating, I
Yeah,
assume.
while we were dating, yeah, of course,
Yeah, Nick.
of course. Yeah.
She doesn't trust you yet.
No, I trust Nick. I love you. But yeah, so a lot of healing involved in the past couple of years, and I couldn't have done that without my husband. He's been a really good support system. So I think to anybody out there who is going through anything, you know, any tough time, yes, it's important to be able to get yourself out of it, you know, but one important bit is to actually put yourself in the right environment in order for you to heal yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something that I've learned in the past 6 years, you know, ever since I met Nick.
Why do you think it has taken so long? I mean, can I share how old you are? Is it okay?
Yeah.
But you're 29 now. 6
Yeah.
years ago, you were 23, right?
Yeah.
Were you still in that toxic environment while you were 23, or?
So I was in that toxic environment till I was about 22.
Oh damn.
Yeah. So I basically had to run away from it.
Right.
Yeah. So it was a very, very big change, quite a traumatic experience. So I still consider myself lucky, and I'm really grateful that I've been able to heal myself. I don't think I wouldn't say I'm healed entirely, but I've been able to sort of like gain a certain level of awareness in terms of where I am, you know, and who I actually want to be within a relatively short span of time, right? So I was in a toxic environment since as long as I can remember, like 6 years old.
Yeah.
And all the way up till I was about 22, you know. So that's more than half of my lifetime spent being in a toxic environment, going through all kinds of abuse, you know. And like I mentioned, like I got really lucky because Nick came into my life at the right time, you know, and he sort of held my hand all the way through, towards me finding myself again.
How has he done it? Like, how did you eventually trust him?
he's a really patient guy.
Yeah.
And I think
As most guys.
he's really patient. And I think he made it easy to trust him. You know, I'm not generalizing men out there, okay, but I think a lot of girls have problems with their partners because I can't trust him if he goes out alone without me, you know, or like if you go out late, you know, what are you doing and stuff like that. So Nick has never given me that reason to doubt him. Yeah, he's a real saint.
Yeah.
I remember.
Isn't there a Saint Nick?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Saint Nicholas.
Yeah.
I remember like back when I was in my corporate job, and like a bunch of my colleagues and we were actually joking around about, and we're talking about our partners. So back then Nick and we weren't married yet. So they actually asked me like, hey, your boyfriend, does he have a vice? You know, what's his vice? Everybody has a vice, you know. So like my colleagues, they were saying like, oh, my husband likes to drink, you know. My wife likes to go shopping and spend money, you know, is an impulsive shopper and stuff like that. And when it came to Nick, like they asked me, and I was like, I really can't think of anything, you know.
He just does CrossFit.
Yeah, maybe his vice is he just likes to work out too much, you know. But that also like it jives really well with me because I love to work out. Yeah, so I mean like, yeah, I think this is a great opportunity for me to put it out there that I'm very, very grateful for my husband. He's really helped me a lot in life, and I wouldn't be where I am today without him.
Right.
Yeah.
And you see, it's funny. The funny thing is, when I invited Nas and I invited ID and also Matt, I somehow never touched on CrossFit so much.
Let's talk about CrossFit. I love talking about CrossFit.
You know, it's with Nas, it's about pregnancy, right? It's not so much about CrossFit, it's just a pregnancy. And then with ID and Matt, we would the episode is going to come out soon. But it was about business and how they started out and things like that, you know. And I really want to talk about CrossFit a little bit, because I just want my viewers and listeners to be aware of such a sport. But you know, CrossFit or functional training or whatever they call it these days, right? Yeah. So, do you mind, you know, just going through what a bit of talk to us about CrossFit a little bit?
Okay, I think I'll talk about my experience with CrossFit.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, sure.
So, my first encounter with a CrossFit workout was I would say about 6 years ago, right? And it was a random workout. It was like 20. It was supposed to be 20-minute long. It was 20-minute AMRAP of the movements included rowing, burpee box jumps, kettlebell swings, and bear crawls. And I remember so clearly that feeling. Not even 10 minutes into the workout, I felt like throwing up. I actually had to stop. I ran to the bathroom and I threw up. And the feeling that gave me was, the viewers are going to think I'm crazy, right?
Yeah.
Was, I remember thinking like, damn, I thought I was fit. You know, I climb so much. I do MMA training. You know, I kind of do functional training as well. But what is this sport that totally just floored me? You know, like I can't believe I'm unable to finish this workout. You know, 20 minutes long. I didn't even make it halfway through. I threw up. I stood up and I was like, damn, I love this. And that was the beginning for me. And that was how I started getting into sport. I started like exploring, looking for CrossFit gyms around. And it was also the same time when Nick and I first started dating as well. And he was already doing CrossFit. So he sort of like showed me the ropes around.
But back in 2013 or 2014?
2013. Yeah, early 2013.
Which box existed apart from Pushmore?
Yeah, well, we didn't even go to Pushmore, but we were doing like CrossFit-like workouts in
the normal gyms.
In a normal gym, yeah. And then after that, District 13 opened up, and it was just really close by to where Nick was living. And so that's how our whole journey in CrossFit started.
I actually, I think the first time that I saw you and Nick, because we've never spoken, right? Yeah. Was I think in X45. I think it was X45 in Sabah in 2015. Were you there?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
all I know, and after that, because you know when you follow Instagram, some things just happen to be in your feed, right?
Yeah.
And of course, I think you were also in Hopper Warrior that year,
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah. I was joining a lot of competitions.
You and Nick, every time I see you guys, like, damn, you guys are so intense. Like, if anybody were to take CrossFit seriously, it would be you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's such deep passion to just, how do you say, torture yourself.
Yeah, you gotta have a strong love for it.
Yeah.
I would say, like, if you wanna do CrossFit, you've gotta, in a way, somewhat love pain.
Right.
You know, or a better way to put it is you need to love like challenging yourself, and that's one of the main things that I got out of CrossFit. I actually learned a lot about life through CrossFit. You know. It's about being disciplined, you know, learning new skills all the time, and you know, always pushing your limits. Yeah. So I'd say like CrossFit has been a very big part of my healing journey as well.
Right. I was just about to ask, like,
Yeah.
what's the difference between, like, because you said that the rock climbing, Muay Thai, they're all outlets for you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How different is CrossFit in terms of letting go all that negative energy within you?
I think because on the surface it's such an aggressive sport,
Yeah.
right? That it's very explosive. You know, you need to generate like very explosive power in order to perform certain movements. You gotta move like heavy stuff around.
Mhm.
I think it's because of that. I don't know. Maybe like physically it does something to your hormones, you know. But I feel like a greater rush of endorphins whenever I do a CrossFit workout, in comparison to, say, even Muay Thai or rock climbing. So I think, okay, rock climbing and CrossFit would be a really good comparison because climbing is relatively slow, graceful, you know. It's all about agility.
Yeah.
And rock climbers, they tend to be smaller in size, you know. You try to shed off the excess weight because you want to be as light as possible, to be able to move around on the wall. Whereas in CrossFit, like, it's the most non-discriminate. It doesn't discriminate.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what size you are, you know. There'll always be something that you can do. Right? And some people, they like to argue that, you know, like, CrossFit is not fair. Like, you know, the bigger guys will be able to lift heavier weights, but the smaller people will be able to do better on like the gymnastics movements, right? So I like that. I like that it was very well rounded. It challenged me in so many different ways. It helped me like unlock a lot of physical skills. Like, for example, for the longest time as a kid growing up, I used to see gymnasts, you know, doing like handstands, you know, and flips and stuff like that. And I've always admired that. Like, I've always thought like, it'd be so cool to be able to, like, you know, hold a handstand, you know. And it was only after I joined CrossFit where I finally unlocked a handstand, right? Because you have to do like a handstand push-up, right?
Yep.
But before that, I remember like I've always been so afraid to get into that inverted position because I had this stupid fear about like, what if I
Falling off.
fall on my
Yeah.
head, you know, break my neck or something like that. And it was that I remember like learning that movement was such a breakthrough for me, like like for myself as a person as well. Like, suddenly I felt so empowered, like, oh my gosh, I can actually do it, you know, like if I set my mind to it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're in the RX category, right?
I would like to think so. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I am.
And when you said like when you do rock climbing, you want to be as small as you can. Did you change physically after you've done CrossFit? Now that you've done it for probably 4 or 5 years.
Definitely. So, like I mentioned earlier, climbing was during a phase of my life where I was going through quite a lot of emotional turmoil. And I think back then, my body image issues, like I had a really bad. I looked at myself really negatively, and I didn't see my body as something beautiful. And I was actually going through some eating disorders back then as a rock climber, because I was thinking like, I want to lose weight, not because of the sport, you know, but I just wanted to be skinny. And the fact that being light in climbing is an advantage, you know, So I used that as an excuse, like, oh yeah,
Right.
I want to become skinny because so that I can become a better climber. Yeah, but no, not all climbers think that way. Okay,
Yeah.
It was just me being very like unhealthy mentally.
Right.
And it was because of CrossFit that it really pushed that mindset away from me, and it changed my mindset. Like suddenly I realized like I need to eat, I need to eat, I need
To
to
maintain
fuel
the
my
muscles.
yeah, I need to fuel my body. I need to start building muscles if I want to lift heavier weights. And that was like the beginning of the journey of me like starting to love my body again. Yeah.
Right. How much weight have you gained from the rock climbing days and now?
You'd be surprised. Actually, not a lot. I think climbing.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's
Yeah.
so stupid.
Yeah.
I was, I think climbing, I was like maybe 53 kilos, and like now I hover between 57, 58. So it's not
Right.
not a lot heavier.
Which I assume with more muscles,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I think if you look at my pictures back then when I was climbing versus now, like in size is not much big of a difference. It's
But in
just-
terms of leanness, muscle mass,
Yeah.
that's different.
I'm
right?
a lot more jacked now.
Yeah, exactly. And
definitely.
I think this is one of the points that I want to drive into our viewers and listeners, that
Yeah.
just because if you do weights, and CrossFit deals with a lot of weights, it doesn't mean that for a woman that you're going to be big.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even when you say you're jack, you're not like jack like a bodybuilder
Yeah.
jack, right?
I want to put it out there, guys. It's so hard to get big.
Yeah.
It's so hard to build muscle. It's not easy, like
Yeah.
lifting a couple of weights is not gonna make you huge.
Thank God you said muscles, because growing big is very easy for me.
Yeah. But it's true though. Like when Nick first started introducing like weights to me, I had that typical mindset, right? I
Yeah.
was like, no, I don't want to get too muscular. What if I look manly? I don't want to look macho. Because I've always been quite of a tomboy growing up, so. I think that did something to me as well. Like, I've always had this fear of being viewed as too masculine, right? But again, because of Nick, thanks to Nick, right? So he was the one that drilled it in my head. Like, no, like muscles are beautiful. Like as long as you're happy with your body, like do you like how you look? Do you like how you're feeling? Do you like feeling strong?
Right.
And that was when I was like, oh, and it
Something
slowly
just
helped
clicked.
it slowly helped to shift my mindset, you know. And for me, the greatest feeling is knowing that my body can perform,
Yeah.
you know. And weightlifting, strength training, that has really helped a lot,
Right.
like, in terms of keeping my mindset really balanced, putting the frame of mind into a much healthier state, in terms of how I view strength. It like my view, my perception of strength has definitely changed a lot over the past couple of years with my experience in CrossFit, in weightlifting.
Right. Okay, we've reached the halfway point right now. So we're going to take a break after this message from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Fit Lion, a curated online marketplace for health, fitness, wellness, and beauty. A one-stop shop of carefully selected range of international and local brands, products, and services for people of all ages. Check out their website at www.fitlion.com.my and be part of their growing Fit Lion community.
Take two.
Welcome back to Barbell Junction. Yeah, that's the name of the show. With Nell and myself. Okay, we've already gone through all the backstory, right, so to say. And I want to know what's going on with you now and also the future. I know that I think it was probably a couple of years ago you started Kettlebowl.
Yes.
How did that idea come about? Like selling granolas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kettlebowl started off as a sort of like a platform to encourage a conversation amongst people regarding health and fitness. So initially it was started by Nick and myself, and back then I remember how it started. We were posting like a lot of pictures and videos of ourselves working out on our individual Instagram. And we were receiving like a lot of comments from people like, hey, you guys should start like a page together or like some kind of blog, And we were like, hey, like, why not? It'd be fun, and that was when we started our first Tumblr page. Back then there was a Tumblr. I think if now you look for it on Google, you'll probably still find it, the Kettlebowl at Tumblr .tumblr. And on that page we were just sharing like healthy recipes, because Nick is actually a really good chef. He really likes to cook, so we used to play around in the kitchen a lot, like with recipes. We try to make like healthy brownies, healthy cookies, and
not magic brownies, right?
No. Not legal here, bro. I would love to though. But yeah, so we shared that on our Instagram, and like all our like coupley workout pictures, hashtag couple goals, that kind of stuff. And that was when people were like, hey, you guys should start a page together. And we're like, okay, maybe. Like, and that was how it started, the Kettlebowl. Nick came up with the name. We were trying to fuse something that between fitness and food, hence a play of word, Kettlebell, and then instead of
I like the
kettlebell,
name.
Kettlebowl, and it became pretty catchy.
Yeah.
And then after that, a couple months later, we have one more partner who turns out to be my distant cousin, but I met her through Nick, so it's a really, really small world, because him and Pik Yen, her name is Pik Yen, they were primary school friends. So the three of us, we were quite close. We spent quite a lot of time together, just hanging out. And that was when the idea kicked in. Like, hey, like, why not we start like a business together? What could we do? And I remember, long story short, we dabbled around with some recipes, and a few friends tried out our granolas, and they were like, "Oh, guys, this is really good. You guys should sell it." And boom, haha, that's how we did it. Right. And what brand to call it? What better than to call it Kettlebowl?
Right.
And that was the beginning of the Kettlebowl journey. We started off selling granolas, baking from our one oven at home, hand packing every single pack. And we didn't even print stickers for our packaging. We made a stamp because it was more cost effective and it had that artisan look, right?
Right.
So that's how we started.
Brilliant.
I started selling through friends and family via Facebook. So we started a Facebook page, and back then I think there weren't many like artisan granola makers in Malaysia. We were one of the very first.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Then
Yeah.
I start seeing other granolas popping up.
Yeah, so
With
there
the same
are a
type of
few.
packaging.
Yeah, I
Right?
know. And then everyone like started doing it, and
Yeah.
that was when we were like, oh. But we were very happy that we were one of the pioneers. Well, not the first, but we were one of the first. So it was cool. We did that for about 2.5 years. Ran the granola business. Really, literally built it from scratch. We didn't get any investments from other people. We just really wanted to see how far we could push it. And it started off as a passion project, like it was just meant to create awareness towards healthy eating, like it doesn't have to suck to eat healthy. Healthy snacking can be delicious. And at the same time, we use the brand to sort of like create more awareness towards fitness, towards a fitness event, towards working out and stuff like that. So our brand, our angle had always been about fitness. So it wasn't so much about our granola. Our granola was our product, but our brand is about fitness.
How big did it get?
We went from making our granolas at home to being able to set up like a humble little kitchen, commercial kitchen, where we it became kind of like our mini manufacturing hub, and I managed to hire a small team to do all the baking, because previously Nick and I were doing all the baking.
It's tiring, right?
Yeah, it's really tiring, dude. I would never go back to that.
Yeah.
Although I don't regret the experience, it was a really good character building experience.
Right.
But it's not something that I would go back to. It's a lot of hard work, and I have so much respect for people out there who can do it for years and still love it. But yeah, I guess it also made us realize that our true passion lies in fitness, in promoting the idea of wellness, health and wellness, and not so much a physical product.
I have to admit, when you guys came up with Kettlebowl, and then I started seeing it grow, right? It actually was available at the place where I used to work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah.
You know, and I can't help but be a bit envious. Not in the sense that, you know, in a negative sense.
Yeah.
It always occurs to me in my mind, like, how did you guys do it? Because at that time, I also had what do you call that? The cold press juicing.
Yeah.
So I did it at home. So I can totally relate on how difficult it is to actually prepare food or prepare a drink and from the night before, and then you have to sell it the next day, because like for juice it doesn't last too long, right? So once you make it, you just have to move it as soon as possible. So, and I'm thinking like, macam mana? How did you guys do it? How did you guys get all these connections? How did you guys get into all this? I don't know whether you actually got into supermarkets or...
We did, yeah.
You did, right?
We got into Jaya Grocer at one point. Yeah.
But you would have to have a large volume in order for you to put your products in those kind of places, right?
Well, surprisingly, no. Contrary to popular belief, like there are a lot of supermarkets out there or grocers who are actually pretty supportive towards local brands. Yeah, but the difficult part of that was because you go in on a consignment basis.
Yes.
So you risk your stocks damaging, getting lost, and there was a lot of groundwork to be done, meaning like you always had to have people on the ground going into the stores and checking your stocks and making sure that, you know, the stocks are moving. If it's not moving, you got to rotate it and make sure it's fresh, you know. So there was a lot of that to deal with in the business, which was really, it was challenging and fun in the beginning. I have to say, like, we learned so much about the industry, about F&B in the industry in general, about and like learning how to deal with like the big boys, you know, like all these grocers and stuff like that. And yeah, it was a really cool experience. Like I was personally delivering stocks to, you know, each store. So I got to go to all the different loading bays of like the shopping malls and stuff. And you go into the back entrance.
It's very smelly, right?
It's super dirty, man. So much fumes. I think my lungs took a beating, man.
I mean, not just that, because we deliver to a few Fitness First and Celebrity Fitness, and we have to go through the loading bay, right? Usually that's where they keep their garbage.
Yeah.
Right, you have to go through that. It's like, oh my God, sometimes it's really, really smelly.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. So how did you guys, you said that Kettlebowl was just a product, the granola was just a product, right? How do you actually make the brand tied to fitness still? How did you guys do that?
I think it had a lot to do with our content in general. Even like on the back of our packaging, on our granola packaging, we had like little workouts that people could do at home.
Dude, that's smart.
Know, stuff like that. Yeah, like concept wise, it sounds really smart, right? But I don't know. I'm not sure if it actually took off, but I think it did its job in terms of creating that image for our brand. You know, people did see the Kettlebowl as a sort of like a fitness. Like a Fitspo kind of brand, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
But we amped up our approach towards like building the fitness community by so I think one of the milestones of our company was when we had our first Kettlebowl birthday bash, and it was just to celebrate our 1 year anniversary as a brand, you know. And what we did was we hosted like a fitness party. So actually, I would like to think that we were one of the very first brands to actually host a fitness event. So, because you see, like nowadays, like every other weekend, there are so many fitness events, right? Like, come to this venue, this cool venue, and there'll be this instructor here to teach this class, and then there'll be like vendors around. There's so many now. But I would like to think that we were one of the first to actually start it, and this was 3 years ago. So earlier this year in April, we celebrated our third one. How
many people turned up for the first one?
So for the first one, we managed to bring in about 180 people.
Wow!
And we had it in District 13. You know?
Of course, where else?
Really, really humble beginnings. I remember we had no budget at all for it. I remember we said like, okay, how much are we willing to spend? We were very lucky. District 13, like Matt and ID, you guys are awesome. You always share your venue with us.
Yes, Matt and ID. I want to share my venue also. Your venue.
So So yeah, we had it in District 13. We were also really lucky because we managed to get a group of like-minded fitness instructors in the industry who were willing to come on board to teach at the event for basically for free. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was because
It's
it
very
was
difficult to do, right?
It was at that point it wasn't that difficult because I think it was a new concept, so people bought it. People bought into it, and we were really just trying to get people together to work out and have fun together. So I would say we were one of the very first to actually host a fitness event of such,
Right.
And it was cool. I remember we had 5 fitness classes all together back to back throughout the day. And over 180 people showed up just to work out together, and we had vendors around, and it was really nice because bringing the vendors in, we got them to if you wanted, you could sponsor prizes for the mini competitions in between.
Did they have to pay anything?
No. So when we started, it really wasn't about making money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is incentive enough for them to just come and then set up the booth and then.
Yeah. But again, I think it was because we were one of the first to do something like that. So it was something new at that point of time. So people were quite easily convinced to come on board. And I'm really, really grateful because that really kick-started a whole new journey for Kettlebowl as well. And after that, in the second year, that was when we decided hey, you know what, go big or go home. And we managed to get in sponsors to come on board, brand partners to come on board. And our second birthday bash was a lot bigger. We had it at APW Bangsa, where we had throughout the day about 2,000 people show up.
Whoa.
And from 5 fitness classes, we went up to 17 fitness classes back to back in 2 different workout zones. We had over 30 vendors, and that was a really big event. Again, we were very lucky. APW came on board as a venue sponsor. And it was really cool. We were working with brands like Maybank, Sun Life Malaysia was one of our main sponsors.
How did you guys do that? Please teach me.
It's a lot of selling, man.
So you actually went through to all of these vendors and partners.
Yeah.
You made a proposal.
Yeah.
But what?
I think I had a very strong fire in me because I believed so strongly in what I was doing, and really for me, every time I did the Kettlebowl birthday bash, even up until this year, the intention was always how can I give people the best experience, right? So I was always doing it with heart. I was always thinking about others. I was thinking about bringing the best quality event, KL would ever seen. I was always thinking about giving back because the Kettlebowl birthday bash started off as something for us to give back to people. It's in a way saying thank you so much for buying our products. This event here is for you guys. Come and just enjoy a day out together, and we will all grow together as a community, become better via fitness. Find the best versions of ourselves. So that's how that has always been the main objective of the Kettlebowl's birthday bash. And second year was great. We worked with so many different people. It was crazy. I remember we were up setting up the space up until 3-4 a.m. when the event was going to start at 8 a.m. the next day. So to answer your question, how we did it, I think people saw how passionate we were.
Is that the key?
I don't know. I think so because when you are passionate about something, it means you'll do it well. Right. Versus if you are just doing it because you want to achieve your KPIs.
Do you think that's the reason why people got on board, or because they see a value in being your partner or being part of the Kettlebowl birthday bash?
I would like to think both. I would like to think that the brand partners that came on board, they got back. They did see some returns in terms of investing in our event. Which I think they definitely did. Vendors in general have always been happy at our events. So because I personally would be really frantic. I'll be on the ground running around the different vendors, and I'll be like, hey, are you guys doing okay? You know.
Right.
And if a stall is not doing well, I'll immediately like run around to the crowd and say, hey, go and try that stall. That stall is really
That's
good.
great.
You know. So I've always been like that. You know. If something is not working out, like I will always try to see what I can do to fix it. You know, or to solve the problem. Yeah.
Like I think people see the selflessness, right? And then they appreciate it, right?
I would like to think so. I hope so. Yeah. Yeah. I think I've always it's interesting, like despite all the pain that I've gone through in life, I've always felt like I always have so much love to give, you know, and that has always been one of the biggest values that I live by, biggest beliefs that I live by is in whatever that I do, you know, do it with love, do it with good intentions. Yeah.
Okay. We promised that we're gonna do the giveaway, right? So actually, I haven't really thought about how to do this, but if you guys are listening, just like this video. So this is on YouTube, right? So it doesn't apply if you're on Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify, go to our YouTube channel, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and then answer this question: where does Nell train at now? Okay, it's a very simple question. I think we've briefly touched on that, right? The answer is in this episode.
Yeah, dude.
So do that, and we'll do another lucky draw based on the right answers. So be sure you guys participate to win this Mutant IsoSurge Whey Protein, courtesy of Fit Lion. All right. Okay. Now we back to the podcast. And okay, so on the first year you had about 100 something. The second year you had about 2,000.
Yeah,
right?
2,000 over.
And I think this year you had it in a big hall, right?
Yes, we had it in Copper Mansion PJ, which is a Chinese seafood restaurant, right?
Okay.
And it's so weird to think about doing a fitness event there, but it was one of the best venues that we ever worked with.
Did you get it for free also?
No,
Okay.
it was semi sponsored. Like Copper Mansion, Ken, you're awesome, man. But yeah, we got it for a really good subsidized rate. And well, because the owner, he himself is into fitness as well, so I think
that helps.
Yeah, that helps, right? This year, not as big as the APW one, simply because of the format of the event. We didn't have 17 fitness classes. I decided to streamline it down to 2 main big classes, and we managed to bring in over 600 people in the day. And when I say 2 main big classes, it was about 250 people per class. And what we did differently was I thought I was already feeling like, you know, how the market has become so saturated with fitness events already. You know, so many people are doing the same thing. You know, you always see the same instructors, or you know, the same kind of class, and
so you're trying to differentiate yourself.
Yeah, and I was trying to do something different, and I felt like the market was also becoming spoiled for choice already. So I thought, you know, like if I wanted my event to be successful, I needed to do something different. So what I did this year was we got the concept was what was the concept again? Like basically like strength in diversity, like strength in community. That was the main theme for this year, and I wanted to tell the story of how. Yeah, you know, there are so many different forms of fitness out there. There are so many different types of fitness classes, you know. People who do different things to be healthy. And I wanted to tell a story of how if we all came together as one, you know, and sort of like learn from each other, we would be so much stronger as a community.
Right.
Hence the theme, strength in community. So the concept of this year's event was I actually brought together instructors of different fitness disciplines.
Okay.
All right. So for example, one of the classes was yoga, right? Although it was yoga, but you know how there are different forms of yoga,
okay.
you know? There's there are instructors who focus a lot on like strength, you know, like dynamic yoga, like, you know, getting into arm balances and inversions. And then there are instructors who focus a lot on like getting into a nice flow And then there are like yoga teachers who focus a lot on like inward yoga, like looking at your
More
breath.
spiritual,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I brought 3 different yogis together, and I told them, I'll give you a 90-minute slot, come up with something together, and the idea was to sort of showcase that fitness, we may be different, in our own way, but when you come together, magic happens.
Right.
Yeah. So
we don't necessarily have to compete against one another, right?
Yeah. Well, the underlying story that I was trying to tell was that you know.
Yeah.
But also like four participants, for people who came, was for them to like be able to experience a different class altogether, something that you can't get elsewhere. So like the other class, which I thought was really, really cool, was I got 3 instructors, Ishak, Maybelline and Chloe. So Ishak, he brought in the element of rhythmic boxing, because he teaches in Fly Project, and he does like boxing and stuff like that. So he brought in the element of rhythmic boxing. And then Maybelline she's an amazing dancer, so she brought in the element of dance. And Chloe does pop Pilates, which basically all 3 of them, different things, but the similarity that they share is their classes go by music.
Okay.
Yeah. So 90 minutes of just pure music, but different forms of movement by different instructors. So that was a really cool class that we put together. But yeah, at the end of the day, like, to tell the story that, we are all different in our own way, we do our own thing, but if we can all come together,
Right.
we actually share the same goal, which is to be healthy.
Yeah, and I think everybody benefits.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
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 We have to take a last break
Yeah.
because it's so interesting. And I don't want the camera to cut us off.
Okay.
So we'll be right back. Wow, welcome back to Barbell Junction with me and Nell. Okay, let's try to wrap it up now. And so, first of all, congratulations on the success of Kettlebowl.
Yeah. Thank
Right,
you.
it sounds very amazing, and I'm still trying to figure out how I can host my own event, but it's difficult when you're just a one-man show.
You can look for us because that's what we do now.
Yeah. So I was just about to ask. I don't wanna tak malu and then just ask, since you asked me. Yeah, okay. Why don't you just slot in some strength event in the your next birthday bash?
We could.
Right. Anyway, so what's the future of Kettlebowl now?
So Kettlebowl, we actually made a pretty big change to our business as of August last year, where we decided to change the entire direction of the business. So we actually closed down our granola manufacturing arm, and we decided to streamline our business and focus on what we are actually good at, which is health and fitness. So what we do now is we're actually a corporate wellness solutions company. We work with our corporate clients. We help them come up with whatever like wellness solutions that they need. Where, for example, like things like, or if they need like a fitness class in their office every week or something like that. Or we also will work with brands to come up with new event concepts that would sort of support their brand building initiatives. So we're like a fitness events management company. Our specialty is in fitness events.
Are there a lot of players out there?
I think there are quite a lot of players, but I think we are one of those that are really like specialized in health and wellness. Yeah. So sometimes we don't just act as events management company. We also act as like a consultant in terms of helping our clients realize like what sort of direction they would want to take in terms of their health and wellness needs.
Right.
Yeah.
And have you actually worked for Maxis last time? And I understand that one of the Fly Cycles instructor is a Maxis staff, right? Rachel.
No, she's not with Fly.
Oh, she's not with Fly.
Yeah.
She's with what?
She's now with Ministry of Burn.
Ministry of Burn.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I used to teach in Ministry of Burn. Now I teach in Fly.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you ever got into that company? Maxis?
Yeah, we actually even up until today we supply like some fitness classes to them in their office.
Who? Like yourself?
Not me lah. Like you
hook people up lah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we're like an agent sort of.
Oh my god, that's the best way to make money, right?
You would be surprised. Not a lot of money to be made from that aspect. Yeah, because I think corporates, big companies, you'd be surprised, right? You think that. You would think that they have a lot of budget to spend.
Yeah.
They don't. They think that fitness comes cheap. Sadly.
Yeah. I suppose so lah. I mean, companies, they're always skimping on all this stuff.
But that's something that I'm trying to change. Like by educating people a little bit more, not just educating like the masses, but educating my clients. Making them understand like what's the value of my product. Why are you paying this amount of money? And what do I provide, in return? Yeah.
When you mention your clients, you're talking about the corporate clients, or you're talking about your personal clients?
Corporate clients.
Do you have do you do personal training on the side?
I do, but not a lot.
Not
I'm very selective with my personal training, PT clients, because like I like challenging clients. I like it when a client comes to me and says like, I'm injured, I have a frozen shoulder.
Okay.
Can you try and fix this? I'm like, okay, sure, let's do it.
I thought like difficult clients, like, people who are like...
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah. But also like time limitations as well.
Right.
So
what is a typical day for Nell?
A typical day for me, every day is different though. You ask me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Every day is different. It starts differently. Some days I wake up like really early at 5 in the morning if I need to go and teach a 7 a.m. class at Fly.
Okay.
So some days I start by teaching a class. Some days I start my day by having a PT, training a PT client. Other days I'm pretty much like in the office doing the boring work and sometimes the exciting work. Yeah. But my day always ends with me training.
Right.
So I'm pretty much
always at D13.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. That's right, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
And what was the biggest change, the biggest growth that you've gone through this past year? The most significant, do you think?
I wouldn't say in this past year, but I think in the past couple of years, the biggest change or the most daring thing that I've done so far.
You married Nick.
No lah. That was like.
I'm just kidding.
That was the greatest decision in my life. Easiest decision to make. But the most challenging thing that I faced was leaving my corporate job. To pursue the Kettlebowl full time. Because when we started Kettlebowl, I was still working in a corporate job. And like leaving that whole comfort of knowing that you get a monthly salary and as long as you stay in the company, your salary will always increase. And you don't have to worry about that. Leaving all of that behind and coming into something where knowing that hey, if shit hits the fan, I won't be able to pay myself. The priority would be to pay other people first. And not knowing when the next project is going to come in, that has been one of the biggest changes that I've put onto myself in my life. But it's also one of the greatest changes that I've made. If I did not make that change, basically stepping outside of my comfort zone, I wouldn't have learned so much about the industry, about people, about myself. Yeah. So
Actually, what I found since I started Zealfit, right, is that I discovered more about myself than anything else.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Second thing would be that I learned about life in general.
Yeah.
Because I think I spoke with ID and Matt about this, that it's almost impossible that for someone who starts a business to not get cheated at least once.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You will get cheated somehow, and that kind of experience somehow makes you grow, makes you more mature, makes you smarter.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's something that not a lot of corporate can give you. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what I find.
It's a real life experience, Like in a corporate setting, it's still very much controlled because you are still sticking within that that square box that is set
silo.
by the corporate.
Yeah,
You know,
it's a silo. Yeah.
like they have their SOPs, they have their ways of doing things. You know, there are certain like corporate policies that you stick within, and because of that, like you are really functioning just within that space.
Yes.
You know, but when you come out and you do something on your own, like it's a whole new like exploration. You know, yeah. So that has been like a great experience for me, like coming out, leaving the corporate world, working on the Kettlebowl, you know, changing the business, you know, making that strategic decision to change the business entirely, closing down the manufacturing arm, letting go of people, like stuff like that.
Wow.
It really at that point of time, it felt like it was so tough, and like sometimes I question myself, like, why am I doing this? You know, why did I leave the comfort of, you know, the corporate world? I could be getting like a nice paycheck every month,
Right.
and I could be going on a holiday, you know, but instead I'm here struggling. But the struggle is good, you know. Through struggles, that's where you grow. That's where you learn.
100%, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like coming out here and like sort of like fending for yourself on your own, you also learn so much, not just about yourself, but you learn so much about people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the people that you deal with, the relationships that you make, you know, and as you try to build your network, you start to realize, like, you know, like how you learn the different ways of like dealing with people in general. Yeah. So
I always find that my screw ups are the best experiences that I've had.
yeah.
It hurts at the point of time,
Yeah.
but it always, I don't know why. I don't know whether if this is true with you as well. That every time I have a major setback, there's something big just around the corner.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I'm always grateful that for all of these screw ups and setbacks, because it has led to where I am today.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I have a podcast show now.
Exactly.
You know?
You are exploring something
Yeah.
that you never thought you would do.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So what is the future for Nell now? I mean, like, what for yourself, not for just, not for Kettlebowl. What is it?
I think for me, like this year alone, I've done a lot of healing in terms of like emotionally, right? So like realizing or just gaining a heightened level of mindfulness. I would like to think that way, because I feel like in the past couple of months, the way I communicate with people, even with Nick, you know, in our relationship, it has changed a lot, because I've learned to be less emotional, more objective, and I think like it has done a lot for me,
Yeah.
because I've always been a very emotional person, and the way I react to things has always been like emotionally driven,
Right.
you know, and I sadly, you know, I feel that has been a limiting factor for me since I was a kid, you know. But yeah, the past couple of months is like just growing in that sense, being more aware of who I want to be, who I am, and like being more mindful in terms of how I react to things. And I hope like, you know, I hope that like moving forward, you know, in the years to come, I'll be able to continue practicing that. So I would say I would be going on a more spiritual journey for sure, for myself. Career-wise, I'm looking for new challenges, definitely. So definitely will be delving into something more than just Kettlebowl. Kettlebowl
Right.
will still be there. You know, we will always be there to do like community events or, you know, service our long-term clients here and there. But that's the beauty of it. Like, we've set up a business that is sustainable in that sense. You know, it can just be there and
And as and when you just
as and
magically
when
appear,
just
yeah.
like activate it and like, let's go.
activate it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's
yeah,
pretty cool.
coming year, continue to become fitter.
I cannot see how you can get any fitter than you are right
I've got
now.
a long way to go.
Yeah?
I got a long way to go. But also to be like, to be smarter with my training as well. I definitely want to become stronger. So yeah, it's a ongoing journey. It's always
Right.
about moving. It's always
I
about
can
moving.
say, from my experience, you seem to be more mature than I was when I was your age. You know, you're thinking about the things that I thought of later in my late 30s. You know,
Yeah.
which is very refreshing, and it's very inspirational for me lah. Because at least now there are young people out there who are reflective.
Thanks, man.
not a lot of people do that, right? They always look outwardly
Yeah.
instead of inwardly.
Inward, yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes when you want to make a change, especially when you want to make a big change in the world or whatever, or
Yeah.
people around you, you have to look inside first,
yeah,
right? Then only
definitely.
you manifest it.
Yeah, and yeah, since you brought this up, like this is definitely something that I want to promote. You know, I want to share with people out there as well, and I think I'll continue to do so with my social media. You know, social media is so powerful, and
It is.
you've got to. I believe that you've got to use it with the right intention. You know?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, that's a nice way to segue into the end of this podcast.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on my Instagram at Nell Climbs. Other than that, you can look for me via Kettlebowl. Yeah, you can email me there.
Yes, you guys still have the Instagram page for Kettlebowl?
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
at the Kettlebowl. Yeah, at the Kettlebowl.
I'll
And our website is www.thekettlebowl.com. You know, you can reach me there via email, or you can also directly email me on my Instagram.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll link everything in the description. Before we end the show, remember that subscribe to this channel, number 1. Number 2, like this post. Number 3, answer the question, where does Nell train nowadays? Okay, that's it. And we'll pick the winner randomly, probably the day after we announce this, when we publish this show. Anyway, again, I would like to thank Nell for coming by. Thank you for your
so
time.
much. Thanks for having me. It's been
And-
fun.
Yeah. Likewise. Like we went a bit more than usual, so more than 1 hour already. Anyway, we also like to thank Fit Lion for their generous sponsorship of this Mutant IsoSearch whey protein. And guys, for all of you out there, please don't forget to subscribe and like us. We're also available on Spotify if you don't have YouTube for some reason. Okay, see you guys next time. Ciao.
Thanks. Bye.